Welcome to the Maritime Startup Ecosystem Interviews, a series we created to give even more exposure to startups from the Maritime Startup Ecosystem Network. Today I'm here with Igor Martin of Hydromea. Hydromea builds a wireless underwater drone for confined flooded space inspections. But definitely Igor will tell us more about this. Welcome, Igor. Welcome.
Hi, Leonardo.
Hi, good to see you. So, Igor Martin from Hydromea in Geneva, I guess.
Yes, well, our office is in Lausanne.
Lausanne. Okay. Good to see you. So, how are you doing these days? You're locked in house or in your office?
Well, no, we're doing fine considering the situation. We just moved to a new office just before COVID hit, and we are a small team, and we moved to a bigger office with an idea that over the next 24 to 36 months we'll grow the team. So we have plenty of space, and now we've been going to the office more and more now, but still, yes, kind of some work at home and some going to the office. So
Yeah.
I'm in the office.
Well, hopefully we're getting sort of back to normality and being able to move to our spaces. But let's talk about Hydromea and you. So can you tell us a bit more about well, yourself in your role in Hydromea and what Hydromea does?
Sure. Well, I'm the CEO of Hydromea. Basically, I'm responsible for all business commercial aspects of the company. Hydromea, as you said in the beginning, is basically pioneering autonomous inspection technology underwater. So what we are focusing on is putting together a very small, portable drone that would go underwater and be able to take measurements, do video, and basically carry to an extent any sensor that is required by a customer. So if you will, we're taking an aerial drone idea that now plenty in the air, even our kids play with drones, down to the underwater world, which is not yet seen the emergence of drones there.
Right, yeah. It's clear. So underwater, or it's flying in the water, so it's submersible. And but I think I understand that you are focusing on some specific spaces, like confined spaces, not much as the external of a hull, the external part of a hull, as much as the internal, like volumes. Did I understand it right?
Correct. Yes, we are focusing on confined submerged spaces, or confined flooded spaces with submerged assets in them. And the reason being is that the technology, the IP that we've generated over the last for some years, basically puts us in a unique position of being able to detach a vehicle from a pilot. Today, the inspections are done underwater either with divers or with ROVs, remotely operated vehicles on tether, or sometimes the infrastructure just flushed out, and the human team on rope access does the dry inspection of those assets. What we offer to the industry is to basically replace the manned entry into confined complex spaces with autonomous drone that is not connected by a tether to a pilot, which gives much more flexibility, and it can get into more, say, complex environments than what an ROV can do today with a tether attached.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, the absence of a wire or a tether is a great advantage, particularly in confined spaces that have like odd shapes that have to cross like barriers and so on. So no, yeah, it's very interesting, and I guess very interesting the fact that you get rid of the need for like humans get into these spaces that tend to be dangerous somehow. So now. So who is the client? I think it's pretty obvious that the client is someone who needs to inspect the internal of a vessel.
Right. So what we realized by talking to a number of different people from different market verticals that have submerged assets in water, that the inspections of those assets today is highly inefficient. The inspections are mandatory. The inspections are regulated, and they are very expensive to an operator. So what we've seen is that in the specifically in the marine space, for instance, the ballast water tanks, which every ship has, are quite complex environments. And today, to inspect a ballast water tank, usually the tank is flushed off the water, it's being dried, it's being ventilated, and then crew enters on rope access. So it takes time, it's quite expensive, and it's risky as well. We've seen also some data showing that the fatalities from confined space entries are on the rise. So we propose to replace the manned entry with effectively a robot, a drone that would be able to do pretty much the same task, and we believe even more consistent than a human could do, especially for spaces where a human would need to reach with a hand, and sometimes it reaches to one spot one time and another spot and another time, whereas as we all know, automated systems can do it spot on again and again and again consistently.
Yeah. So
addressing, apologies, just addressing your question about where our immediate focus is on ballast water tanks, and specifically within the oil and gas offshore space, floating platforms, FPSOs, FSOs that have quite a lot of those ballast tanks, and it is expensive for them to inspect them. We are in the beginning of a project with a couple of oil majors where we are developing this technology to allow that capability to be real. And then also we are looking at other spaces such as, for instance, hydropower turbines, where access to the blades is not possible today. So the industry has to stop the turbine, dry out, take the water out, disassemble it, take the blades to a workshop. It's just a lot of downtime involved, a lot of cost, and sometimes operators don't even do that for that reasons, and then they face potential even more costs down the road when the turbine breaks. Aquaculture is another industry where we are starting to get exposure to, because a net where salmon is grown, for instance, is also a confined space. There's quite a lot of issues in that space connected to diseases, to breakages of the net, escapism of fish into the natural environment. That industry sees as challenges and focuses on addressing. And there are other market verticals where we see opportunities for a drone that would be able to inspect autonomously.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about specifically the maritime space? Do you have already pilots running or clients? What stage of development are you?
We don't have pilots running. No, we are in the beginning of a project that we are starting this summer with a couple of oil majors, as I mentioned.
Yep.
And that's focused on specifically ballast water tank inspection with this drone. So we are also currently looking for engaging with shipping operators, fleet management companies in the merchant sector, right? Because we certainly are aware of challenges that they face. The economics might be slightly different, and that's something that we'd like to understand better with companies like Maersk, MSE, and so forth.
Yeah. Okay. So early stages in maritime with a product that offers a service that is not out there yet. And so early stages means also funding. I guess that it would be interesting to understand how did you fund your journey so far, and if you are in the process of raising in the next future, because this is something that could be interesting for investors that might be looking to this interview. But of course, make sure that you don't share any confidential information that can be shared in a public forum like this.
Yeah, no problem. We have raised money through grants and some private investments up until now.
Yep.
We are basically at the beginning of a project that will kick off this summer. That is most likely will be financed by one of the industry associations. And as soon as this gets all into place, or we get all the approvals needed that we're currently waiting for, we will be going into the market to raise additional capital with private investors. So yes, we are planning to do a funding round this summer to get us runway secured until the end of 21.
Okay, so this would be probably a late seed round. Do you have an idea of the size approximately?
Correct, yes. This is a late seed round, basically kind of supporting the development of the product and preparing for the commercialization of the product towards the end of 21, and then getting ready for Series A in the beginning of 22 to expand our commercial product to other markets with potential partners there. Right now, we are finalizing the amount that we would need by the end of 21 to secure our runway. I don't have yet the number to communicate. We haven't started yet this seed round.
Sure. Okay, but it's good to know that you are in the process. So keep an eye on Hydromea, and well, in a few months it will be clearer the size of the investment that you're looking for to extend the runway to end of 2021 with like funds to develop the product and the market. So
yes, we're prepared on the timeline. We're preparing for kicking off our funding round mid-June. With an idea to close it by end of August, mid-September.
Okay, great. So perfect, excellent information. And well, I think it's great. I love to see all the startups in the ecosystem that are growing, that are developing interesting things. Some are developing crazy things. Everything super relevant for the industry. So thank you very much, Igor. Congratulations to you and the founders, the co-founders, for this idea turn into reality. And well, let's see how it evolves. So for the moment, thank you very much, Igor.
Thank you, Leonardo. Nice
Thank you. Cheers.